Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Landman's controversial Ainsley storyline, defended by Taylor Sheridan show star. Not my job to tell people how to interpret my character. Landman star Michelle Randolph defends the controversial Ainsley storyline in the Taylor Sheridan created Paramount Plus drama. Randolph's character, Ainsley Norris, is introduced in Landman Episode 1. She's in a relationship with Dakota Loving, Drake Roger, a young man that her father Tommy Norris, Billy Bob Thornton, doesn't approve of. But early on, Randolph's scenes drew a lot of attention online because of how Ainsley was depicted despite being only 17 years old. In an interview with Screen Rant's Grant Hermans, Randolph discusses the online response to Ainsley's controversial depiction and viral scenes. The actor explained that she put her effort into developing the character and filming. Beyond that, she says that it's not her job to decide what viewers should take away from the scenes. Read the full response. It's been argued that Landman depicts Ainsley in a suggestive way despite the character's young age. This first becomes evident in a scene from the premiere episode, when Tommy asks whether Ainsley and her boyfriend Dakota are having sex. Ainsley replies that they are, of course, but they have a specific rule to follow, which Ainsley tells her father about in detail. He responds in disbelief, the camera lingering on his face, as he says that he's going to get a Dr. Pepper. It's an obvious setup for an obvious punchline. Other scenes play out in a similar way, with Ainsley dressed casually and the men in Tommy's life essentially leering at his daughter. Critics argue that, besides the general weirdness, the suggestive moment undercuts what is otherwise a worthwhile bond between father and daughter. But it's par for the course for how teenagers are portrayed on television, despite how, in Randolph's case, the actor is fully an adult. The specifics of how American television depicts teen sexuality is nothing new. For better and worse, thoughtfully and otherwise, teen dramas are filled with examples where the subject is handled both skillfully and clumsily. It's usually the domain and discussion of that particular subgenre. What's different about the Sheridan example is that it is ostensibly a prestige series with big stars that is meant to be taken seriously. But maybe if there is Landman Season 2 and beyond, there will be more interesting character progression for Ainsley rather than uninspired humor. Taylor Sheridan's sprawling television universe has often been lauded for its unflinching portrayals of complex characters, and Landman is no exception. The show, centered on the fraught world of oil rig politics and personal ambitions, recently found itself under the spotlight due to the polarizing storyline surrounding Ansley Drayton, a pivotal character whose moral ambiguity has both captivated and confounded viewers. The controversy, while simmering since the show's inception, boiled over after a particularly charged episode where Ainsley's actions defied traditional expectations, leaving fans divided. Amidst this furor, one of the show's stars has stepped forward to defend the narrative choices, emphasizing the importance of audience interpretation. Ainsley, hero, villain, or something in between. From her introduction, Ainsley has been a walking paradox, a savvy businesswoman who navigates the cutthroat oil industry with a mix of charm, cunning, and unflinching resolve. Yet the character's moral compass has always been deliberately elusive. In the latest season, Ainsley orchestrates a series of events that undermine her allies while securing a lucrative deal for herself. The episode ends with her delivering a haunting monologue about survival in a world that rewards the ruthless, sparking widespread debate about her motives. Fans took to social media, with some hailing Ainsley as a feminist icon who refuses to be boxed into societal expectations, while others labeled her a villain devoid of empathy. The discourse intensified when certain critics argued that her storyline perpetuates damaging stereotypes about ambitious women in power. Amid this cacophony of opinions, it was one of Ainsley's co-stars who addressed the issue head-on. Defending complexity. In a recent interview, the actor, who portrays a key ally-turned-rival of Ainsley, defended the contentious storyline. "It's not my job to tell people how to interpret my character," they said. "What I love about working on Landman is that Taylor Sheridan writes characters who are unapologetically human. Ainsley isn't a hero or a villain. She's a person making decisions in a brutal world. If that makes people uncomfortable, that's a testament to the writing." This statement underscores a recurring theme in Sheridan's work: the refusal to spoon-feed morality to the audience. Whether it's Yellowstone's morally gray Dutton family or the lawmen and outlaws of 1883, his characters exist in spaces where right and wrong blur. Ainsley's storyline, as divisive as it may be, follows this tradition. The power of interpretation. The actor's comments also shine a light on the broader question of audience agency. In an era where social media amplifies every opinion, viewers have come to expect creators to explain, justify, or even apologize for controversial choices. But Sheridan and his cast appear to resist this trend, advocating instead for the value of open-ended storytelling. "Art isn't about providing answers," the actor continued. "It's about asking questions. If people are debating Ainsley's choices, that's a win in my book. It means the character has resonated enough to provoke thought and discussion." Indeed, the ambiguity surrounding Ainsley forces viewers to confront their own biases and values. Is her betrayal of her allies justified by the systemic sexism she faces? Or does her ambition come at too great a cost? These questions have no easy answers, and that's precisely the point. Ainsley in context. To fully appreciate Ainsley's storyline, one must consider the socio-political backdrop of Landman. The show's depiction of the oil industry is as much about individual characters as it is about the larger forces at play: corporate greed, environmental concerns, and the human cost of resource exploitation. Ainsley's choices are shaped by this unforgiving environment, making her both a product and a critique of the system. In one particularly poignant scene, Ainsley confronts a boardroom full of executives, calling out their hypocrisy while securing her controversial deal. "You've all done worse," she says, her voice cold and steady. "The difference is, I'm not pretending to be the good guy." This line encapsulates her character's essence: a refusal to conform to traditional narratives of redemption or villainy. The Sheridan Effect. Taylor Sheridan's signature style, gritty realism paired with intricate character studies, has always invited strong reactions. Critics of Ainsley's storyline argue that her arc could have been handled with more nuance, but Sheridan's defenders counter that the rawness of his approach is what makes his work compelling. Ainsley isn't supposed to be likable, the actor emphasized in their interview. She's supposed to be real, and real people are messy, complicated, and sometimes infuriating. If we're not challenging the audience, we're not doing our job. Audience reactions. The divided fan response underscores the challenges of portraying morally ambiguous characters, especially in a media landscape often dominated by clear-cut heroes and villains. Some fans have started online campaigns celebrating Ainsley as a trailblazer, while others have called for a redeeming arc to make her more relatable. The debate has even spilled into think pieces, with cultural critics analyzing what Ainsley represents in the broader context of gender, power, and morality. One fan tweeted, "Ansley Drayton is the most compelling character on TV right now. Love her or hate her, you can't ignore her." Another wrote, "Sheridan's obsession with flawed characters is exhausting. Give us someone to root for, not another morally bankrupt anti-hero." The future of Ainsley's arc. As the season progresses, the question remains: where will Ainsley's journey lead? Will she face consequences for her actions, or will she continue to thrive in a world that rewards her brand of ruthlessness? Sheridan's track record suggests that whatever happens, it won't be predictable. For now, the actor's defense of the storyline serves as a reminder that complex characters like Ainsley are a rarity in television, and perhaps a necessary one. By refusing to simplify her motivations or dictate how viewers should feel, Landman challenges its audience to grapple with uncomfortable truths about ambition, power, and morality. Conclusion: in defending Ainsley's controversial storyline, the actor has reignited a crucial conversation about the role of storytelling in shaping cultural narratives. As Landman continues to push boundaries, it's clear that the show's creators and cast are unafraid to embrace complexity, even at the risk of alienating some viewers.